We're rolling. That's it. You.
Yeah.
Funny fellow. A funny friend, Naveen.
Keeping all this in.
Yeah, keep it on. That's right, folks. We've been doing this shit long enough. After 100 hours, you can, you can start having these kind of callbacks. Welcome to, unless Naveen has anything else.
Well, that is the secret of comedy that we've always talked about, right? Timing.
You
just call it back.
Welcome to episode 60 of Rebels Without a Pod.
60?
Yeah. The show that dares ask the question, what the hey, dude? Yeah. There we go.
Thinker, I get it now.
Yeah, I was going to go with what happened to my guinea pig, but I thought we'd be more topical to what we're talking tonight.
To Nickelodeon.
Joining me tonight, Andy, who does our artwork and graphic design.
Good evening.
And Naveen on music and audio production.
Hello there.
Pod Daddy Eric will not be joining tonight. He's just texted that he's off with, I'm going to read this part verbatim, off with some monkey robots in a pocket dimension, quote, honing the noobs. We wish him well, as usual, and look forward to his eventual return.
Indeed.
Yeah. Taking a break this week from the B movie cycle that we've been doing on both like the main line and Papa and myself, our little kind of spin-off pod. We are kind of going from kind of well-known, kind of established American classics like Frankenhooker, and instead we're going to be spending a little time trying to make the pod, like a little more kind of commercially viable, and talk about a quirky little adaptation of a kind of little-known indie comic that has made about $250 million, like over the past couple weekends. James Gunn's Superman 2025. Now,
nice.
Gentlemen, is this the first time we've covered anything even sort of remotely like kind of a new release film, like on the podcast? Jog my memory here.
I do believe it is.
Yeah. Like, this is the most recent movie we've ever done, you know? I think it's the first movie we've ever done that's actually in theaters.
It has to be our first, like, 2025 as well, right? Unless I'm really
definitely.
Yeah.
Eric and I, you're right. It's the first one that we've covered that is still currently in theaters in its first run.
Or even like entirely from like the year. I think like on Cunny, Eric and I covered the horror film Companion, which kind of released, I think, like January, February this year. But this is the first time we've actually tried to sort of be in any kind of way contemporary or relevant. So let's see how this goes.
In the now.
What could go wrong?
Yeah. Other than posting that shirt we had of Charlie reviewing the Minecraft movie, this is kind of in a certain way maybe the hardest we've tried.
Maybe, or at least the hardest we've tried to pander.
Right.
Get some viewings in there.
Yeah. Get some clicks, sort of see how it goes. I don't have my usual sort of notes. All our comments, the Rebels Without a Pod YouTube channel, like, comment, subscribe. People, the love has been coming in. You know, just we're getting the views, getting the clicks, and an old episode for us. Our rerun of Dirty Work, because we took like the mainline kind of Friday episode off, up to just over the weekend, kind of close to 50 views. The channel collectively passing over 4,000 views, like over like the past week, and you know that's between the sort of kind of the digestible sort of bite-sized shorts that we've been posting, but some at least kind of tiny fraction of that is just the hour and a half, 2 hour clips of this kind of usual nonsense we do week to week. So we definitely appreciate the time and attention we've been getting.
It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I do want to apologize for the audio on that episode. There was nothing I could do about it, but there was a little bit of an echo many times in it, but it's still listenable and audible.
Still content.
Yeah. Still our dumb selves.
Right. Sometimes you put lipstick on a pig. Sometimes he gets like the whole foundation done. It's just, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing what we can.
Yeah, that was our early days. We were still working out the kinks.
So before we kind of get into like the movie itself, let's talk just like a little bit. Superman is a really interesting character relative to people, to kind of people like our own age, and I would say especially for Eric and I, probably out of like the four of us, are kind of like the more sort of passionate about the things, but I would kind of reasonably describe like all four of us as kind of being sort of fans of kind of superhero film, comic book film, to kind of like one extent or the other, right?
Definitely.
So Superman is within our kind of specific kind of lifetimes where kind of comic book, where the films and television, what was sort of being produced in terms of sort of film and television kind of related to comic book storytelling, and how things kind of pivoted over our lives. There's one very, very kind of sort of extreme, important, I think, kind of pivot point that we can kind of point to, and that would be Tim Burton's 1989 Batman movie. Prior to that, in my memory, Superman was maybe not sort of like the coolest or like the biggest comic book character, but he was someone that was kind of around all the time. And after the Batman Burton hit, things just shifted. So just very, very fundamentally, and he became just wildly, wildly uncool. I wanted to ask you guys kind of what's from your childhoods, or from kind of later on from there. What are your memories of this character? Either just comic books, movies, TV shows, anything else?
Superman was always, when I was younger, my absolute favorite. I know it's kind of basic bitch of me, but he was always my favorite, to the point where I had a Superman birthday party.
No shit.
I guess I was 19. No, just kidding. I was like, I think I was like
33 and a half.
Yeah, 6 or 7, something like that. But I had like a whole Superman themed birthday party with like a big Superman cutout, et cetera, et cetera. And then fast forward to, I guess it would have been late middle school into early high school. I actually had I don't know if you would call it life size, but certainly larger than I was, one of the actual cardboard cutouts of Superman that just sort of lived in my room for a long time.
Really?
I wouldn't say.
Do you remember? Was this a particular actor?
Yeah, about that same thing.
No, it was the actual comic book drawing, but it was full size.
Interesting.
I wouldn't say he's my favorite superhero any longer.
Mm-hmm.
I think my tastes have changed a bit, but certainly for my formative years of when, I was collecting comic books to an extent, and I had action figures and all that kind of stuff, Superman was definitely my guy.
Interesting. Naveen, how about yourself?
Yeah, kind of along the lines, same boat as Andy. Superman's always been my favorite. He did not wane for me like Andy did. He's always been my favorite, mostly just growing up with the Christopher Reeve version of those movies, his version of Superman and things. That's where I became more into it. My brothers were more into Batman, so they liked him better. But I don't know, Superman for me was always the guy, probably because he was his other persona, Clark Kent. Disguised persona was kind of a dweeb, nerdy guy.
Stop myself from going, what?
Yeah, but so I kind of related to that aspect of Superman more than the superhero aspect of him. So it's been my favorite. And I think I had the Superman underwear a couple days ago. But
33 and a half.
Yeah, when I was 45. No, when I was a kid there. At that time, the whitey tighties, but Superman symbol print all over it. So yeah.
Let's hear more about your childhood underwear.
Sure. I could go.
No, let's not hear more about your childhood underwear.
I think that's a bad idea.
Yeah. No. And we just lost our subscribers.
Yep.
All right. So so that's mostly, I did read some of the comics, but not a lot of them, and got into it that way, but didn't know about them. The other part would be I did watch, I remember watching quite a bit of it, of the Justice League cartoons. So I know he was.
Which Justice League cartoon specifically we're talking about here? Because there's been a few different runs. There was the original Super Friends in the early '80s, but then there was I think there was a different kind of Justice League cartoon that sort of came out, I think either late high school, early college, that was a spinoff of the Bruce Timm Batman animated series.
Gotcha. It would be the Super Friends, obviously,
okay.
from the '80s. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just shared a picture in our group chat, and I think we can probably add it to the pod. Kind of
look at that
reel. It's a picture of Charlie, our senior youth correspondent, when he was probably 3, maybe 4. For Christmas, I actually handmade him a Superman costume. I bought some blue pajamas. Actually, it was like a little sweatsuit, and everything else you see on there I made by hand with felt and with fabric and needle and thread, and I actually made him like a pretty legit Superman costume.
That's nice.
Yeah, beautifully, really, really fun, completely adorable, beautiful design.
Yep.
Yeah.
This kind of brings up so Eric and I actually did like kind of a short separate interview for this movie because he was going to be out traveling today. But a thing that he brought up, and this is a point I've raised kind of time again on the podcast, it's sort of fascinating to me just when you kind of you look at kind of what young people in America are most interested right now. Superman is almost completely off the map, but every young boy that you talk to will know exactly who Naruto is. Not the last time I saw Charlie in person, but the time before that was at Boston Comic-Con, where he was wearing a full-on, really well-executed sort of Naruto costume.
Yep.
So the fact that we have kind of both these photos here is such like an interesting. It's such a literal on its face example, like the things I sort of been talking about here and there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Would you like to throw that in? I'm putting this in the record, but who cares? Into our video feed.
Yeah.
The picture that I sent. Absolutely. Yeah. Let me get the okay from Charlie. I'm sure he won't mind. But yeah, I think that should go in there. And maybe I actually have a picture of Charlie as Naruto also. That
I think it got like you sent me a bunch from like the Boston Comic-Con, because like Charlie, I remember, was so completely fearless at that thing. He would just go up to anybody, and also was also in a crazy costume that he wanted like a picture with.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm sure like just having those two photos, I think that would be like a really kind of fun little.
If I can, I'm sure I have them. If I can find one, I will also send that over.
I will also sort of kind of reach out to my mother. I was like a very big kind of comic book fan growing up. My favorite Justice League character was not Superman, was not Batman. It was actually Green Lantern. And I believe it was actually first grade. I wore a Green Lantern costume to go out trick or treating, and my brother actually had like a little kind of Superman getup, because he was that age where he kind of didn't really give a shit one way or the other.
Which Green Lantern? Hal Jordan?
This would be the Hal Jordan one. Yes.
Okay.
But for me, it's kind of interesting. Like Superman was not exactly sort of my favorite character, but he was a big deal in our house. I mean, my parents clocked fairly quickly that I did not give any kind of shit about kind of sports whatsoever, but I really love comic book stuff. My dad was, just kind of like a comic book sort of like, just enthusiast. He had grown up. The stories he tells about the comic book collection that he had as a kid. The original Amazing Stories 15, where Spider-Man debuted, the first Fantastic Four, the first Avengers, the first this, that, probably a $50,000 comic book collection. What happened to his was the same thing that happened to everybody's, is that my grandmother kind of chucked all of them like the day my dad went up to college, sadly enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of introduced to like all these things kind of really early. There was also an added extra element of my mother, who generally does not have any sort of interest in this stuff, really liked Superman. That was a combination of two things. She had pretty regularly watched the 1950s George Reeves movie from like back, like a George Reeves TV show back in the day. And she really loved the first two kind of Christopher Reeves movies that came out in I believe it's 77 and 80. I think little crush on kind of Christopher Reeves himself. I mean, if in fairness, probably maybe the handsomest man to like ever exist. She really, but I think she also kind of growing up on the George. This is something we were talking about like on the phone like a little bit the other day. She hated in the original TV show how George Reeves would be very, very obviously Superman. Everybody was kind of fooled by his glasses, and she loved the fact that Margot Kidder's Lois Lane character in the original kind of Christopher Reeves movies was really kind of smart and kind of a tough cookie, and was able to just kind of pin down right away, which is just that Clark and Superman were like the exact same person. So coming up, I remember watching every single Superman property that existed. I remember watching the original Max Fleischer animated series from like the 1940s, which were actual sort of like kind of theatrical shorts that would run kind of before full-length movies. And if you actually kind of go back now, are beautifully animated. They were doing crazy cutting edge rotoscoping and multi-layered and like all the stuff kind of like with sort of just with sort of light and special effects and everything else. It's just astoundingly beautiful kind of cartoons that were almost, you know, nearly like a century old at this point. I remember those. I remember like the Funimation kind of you know, animated shows that kind of ran from like about like the mid 60s to like the early 70s. They kind of did you know, just Superman, Batman, Aquaman for like all those things. Kind of, you know, just kind of similar to Hanna-Barbera, sort of very kind of sort of cheaply produced, but like as I was a little kid, I still found it fascinating. I also remember, and this is really a pull because this ran for such a short amount of time, but there was a 1988, like a fall of 1988 Saturday morning Superman cartoon that ran for only about 12 episodes on CBS. That was I remember sort of pretty well produced. It had sort of character designs by Bill Keane, who was like a hugely famous kind of like DC artist for the time. It had the first ever live action depiction of the first ever kind of cartoon depiction of Wonder Woman that I actually like I sort of remembered at all. Ran for like a very, very short time, and sort of then naturally, and this cartoon sort of like being like a little bit before our time, but Super Friends again was like was a show and a property again. Hanna-Barbera, sort of very kind of cheaply made, doesn't age particularly well, but it was one of those things that was always around. I liked Superman just kind of fine. 1989. Batman hits, all of a sudden kind of comic book stuff can be adult, dark, a little dangerous, like a little mysterious. I think that was one inflection point for people our age. And then when the X-Men, so I think the Burton Batman kind of rendered Superman kind of like a bit uncool and obsolete to people our age. And then the X-Men Saturday morning cartoon hit in about 92 and 93. And that, I think, for people our age rendered the entirety of DC sort of like just kind of like Marvel became the cool kid like pretty much overnight after that cartoon hit.
You know, I got to be honest, for me, I didn't start really loving Marvel stuff until really until the MCU kind of kicked off.
Really?
I was always a DC fanboy, always a DC fanboy. I mean, I like the Marvel stuff too. But I mean, I focused primarily on the DC stuff. Minus, I always liked Wolverine, and I always liked Captain America. But for the most part, yeah, until MCU, and I got to really know the characters better that way because I didn't read a lot of comic books as a kid because reading was always the last thing I wanted to do. MCU was really where Marvel kicked off, and that's when. I think to this day now, I think Spider-Man is now probably my favorite superhero. But yeah, a DC guy for a long time.
Interesting.
Well, yeah.
So let's see, kind of pivoting from like that a bit. Outside of kind of Superman, like the director of this film, James Gunn. Any kind of sort of fondness or familiarity with his kind of work prior to this? Obviously, a guy who directed all three of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, made the second, it did kind of a sequel, kind of a remake for DC of the Suicide Squad movie, like a few years back, and kind of had like a history of kind of mostly sort of like kind of low budget and independent horror prior to that. Yeah, like the biggest theatrical release we were talking before the pod was a movie from 2006 called Slither, that he made starring Elizabeth Banks and Michael Rooker, who would, of course, kind of was the dad from Mallrats and would eventually kind of go on to play Yondu in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. What do you think? What do you guys think about like his prior work? Go ahead, David.
Okay, gotcha. All right. For those that can't see us, which is everybody.
Hopefully, everybody.
Andy's throwing the finger at me.
Yeah, not the finger,
not
just
that
a
one.
finger.
We all love each other.
True. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a loving finger.
Sure.
Whichever one you decide to choose.
It could be used all kinds of ways.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah, I don't know why, but I know a lot of people got into directors and things and knew who the directors were early on. For me, I just never really knew or got into it. You knew the big ones, at least when I was younger, of like Spielberg and George Lucas.
But following full filmographies or being like, oh, like the next Park Chan-wook or like the next sort of kind of Coen Brothers movie, that's not a way that you kind of took in.
Right.
That's not a way that you kind of track things necessarily.
Exactly. So, I mean, I still don't quite do it that much, but sometimes like, oh, okay, I'll hear about this director doing it. So my familiarity with James Gunn is not too much. Obviously, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and that's kind of about it. I was actually looking up, well, not that, also the Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad, everything that's pretty recent. But yeah, looking at his filmography and things, just trying to double check some things, but there wasn't much. I didn't know he did it, but I did watch Super.
Interesting.
It seems to be in its filmography. Who knows how accurate it is? Apparently 13 Ghosts I'm familiar with, and like Scooby-Doo. He did movie 43. It says he had some stuff with that, which was a funny movie back then, and actually pretty recent, I guess.
What was movie 43? What was that one?
You would recognize the poster. It's kind of like a it's kind of like a bunch of sort of like different sort of weirdo vignettes with a lot of extremely famous Hollywood people kind of go like sort of just in these kind of screwball kind of little kind of sort of situational micro stories. Like it was kind of interesting, like as an experiment, but I think it wasn't considered like particularly good. It kind of just came and went.
Right. It's kind of like those parody movies, comedy movies that people done. Like, what's the Scream one? Scary Movie or whatever.
Sure.
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Reminds me of that kind of type of movie.
That plus 23 short films about Springfield, I guess, might be like close analog to it.
Got it.
Yeah. So yeah, again, obviously there's some things that I've seen that I didn't realize he did. One thing I'm trying to figure out here, but I guess in 2000 he did Citizen Toxie, the Toxic Avenger 4 comedy horror.
Okay.
So I mean, again, actually it says director Lloyd Kaufman. So I got to look.
He early in his career, he was very heavily involved in sort of like the Troma studio work. I think not just as a director, but like as a writer, as a cinematographer, as a producer.
Gotcha. So yeah, might be something to check out since we're on that Toxic Avenger gig. But yeah, so again, familiarity. Again, it's not the route I went with. I usually go with. So just mostly all the recent stuff that I know of. The Marvel.
Primarily the Marvel movies.
Yeah. So it's kind of neat seeing him now go to the other side, the dark side, I suppose, going to the DC world and changing gears with that.
The Suicide Squad movie was kind of his addition piece because he basically made that while he was on a hiatus from Disney between the makings of kind of Guardians 2 and Guardians 3. And like that's the thing. While Eric and I kind of talked pretty extensively about the Suicide Squad on our own little mini interview because it's such a for kind of more like nasty freak comic book fans, it was our Citizen Kane. Like it's such an astoundingly weird and colorful and fun and dirty piece of comic book filmmaking, and just kind of strangely enough ended up being his like audition piece for like ultimately sort of kind of getting like the like the Superman director role with Warner Brothers.
Nice. Did he do both? of the Suicide Squads?
The first one was directed by David Ayer and was extremely terrible. So that was called Suicide Squad. James Gunn version was called The Suicide Squad. It was the second movie I saw in theaters after pandemic, and it was by a fraction the best movie I think I saw in 2022, just beating out No Way Home.
Wow.
Nice. Because the Suicide Squad I found to be a lot better than Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Andy, how about yourself for this director?
So, I guess first of all, while we're talking about it, I have not seen The Suicide Squad. I didn't watch it because Suicide Squad was such a turd.
A complete dog shit. Yeah.
And I just assumed that this one would also suck. But now that you guys are saying it was pretty good, I might have to go back and check it out.
So here's a pitch. Here's a pitch. If like the four of you are really interested, Suicide Pod.
Oh. All right.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
Nice.
All right.
Definitely know of all the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. I think Guardians 1 and Guardians 3. Guardians 1 is great. Guardians 3 is pretty good. Guardians 2 is, I think, awful, personally.
Interesting.
Hated Guardians 2. Just thought it was such a boring movie.
Really?
Wasn't into it at all. Did see Super, but I actually have no recollection of it whatsoever.
Interesting.
But I do remember seeing it. But apart from that, like as I go through the filmography, I don't know that I've seen much of anything else that he's done.
Like I said, this is a guy who was a constant presence. He was always working. He always had kind of like his hands in like a lot of things. But it's interesting. Like he got Guardians of the Galaxy very, very randomly after not really kind of having headed a full length kind of studio film for other than Slither for just basically like the previous 2 decades.
Yeah, it's also it's mentioning here Brightburn.
Oh, sure.
He didn't direct it, but he helped. Maybe he helped out with writing it. I'm not exactly sure. A
horror movie that was just kind of premised on what if Superman as a kid was an asshole.
Yeah, it seems that way.
I'd have to check that out. Sounds interesting.
Yeah,
it actually looks pretty interesting. But
it's sort of like imagine kind of like a combination of like The Boys and We Have to Talk About Kevin. I mean, it
looks like he was the producer on that movie, and then Brian Gunn and Mark Gunn, who I believe are his brothers, wrote it.
Okay. Did James Gunn also do the Guardians holiday special thing?
I believe so. Yeah.
He did. Yes.
That one was good. I thought that was pretty good.
I think I remember watching it. It was okay. Definitely better than the fabled Star Wars one, from what I understand.
Well, have you ever seen the Star Wars holiday special?
I have not. Only snippets, pieces of it.
It could also be like another entire podcast. It's at one point, Carrie Fisher, coked to the absolute gills, stares directly into the camera and sings lyrics to the Star Wars theme song.
I mean, I'm sold.
Yeah, it's
Bill Murray style.
Bill
Murray.
No. She's putting a lot into it. And Peter Mayhew Chewbacca is kind of standing behind her, and she keeps on sort of falling over as she sings the song. And Chewbacca's very, very subtly has to keep kind of pushing her back upright.
That sounds excellent.
The whole thing is loco bananas, front to finish.
Wow, she should have been in Street Fighter.
Yeah. She might have thought she was in Street Fighter. Is this Coruscant or Shadaloo? Both those names sound made up. Let's get to the film of the hour though. Superman 2025 is a comic book movie directed by James Gunn, starring David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult. Synopsis in brief. Can't believe I'm going with this one. My parents are going to listen to this episode just so you guys know. Don't let this don't let this. Synopsis in brief. Go forth, my alien son. Go forth and nut into some Earth girls. And Naveen, don't cut out that. Other synopsis in brief.
Oh, that's going into the.
You're about to send your baby into space. Your child is loaded up into a rocket. You're about to hit that big red button. What's the last Skype message that you want to leave from before you just kind of just send them off on great unknown? What's the last thing?
Kill Earth.
I'm asking rhetorically. Son, you're going to be super powered on that planet. You're clearly going to be fine as hell. Just look at your mother and I. Just when you get down there, you just need to lay some pipe into as many willing Earth women as you can find.
Yep.
So just hell of a way to start. Other synopsis in brief.
I have
lots from you.
Do you want me to go or do you want to go, Naveen?
You know what? I think I will go if you don't mind, because I'm probably going to suck.
Come on.
All right.
Come on.
All right. So synopsis. What's that?
We're doing this for the shorts.
Okay. All right. Synopsis in brief. You know what? Minecraft's big. Well, let's call it something else. Anti-proton river.
Fair.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I got one more if you don't.
Yeah.
All right. Synopsis in brief. Clark Kent gets the exclusive Superman interviews right after every huge event. No one will ever suspect a thing.
Except Lois. She suspected.
Right. She knew.
Synopsis in brief. Alien shows up, tries to help, gets canceled, fights himself, ultimately just lets his drunk cousin's dog clean up the mess. Alt LL Cool Jimmy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Alt, synopsis in brief. Typical woke shitty dog propaganda.
Yeah.
There we go. Superman 2025. All of us have seen it in the theaters at this point. I've gone a couple times now. Naveen, general impressions. Let's start with you.
I enjoyed the movie. It was in the beginning kind of more on the funnier side, comical side, with some of the things that were happening, especially with the dog and stuff. But it did eventually come into the serious side of things that you would suspect. I was very reluctant going in after seeing what they did to Henry Cavill's character with Dawn of Justice and Justice League. They did him dirty because Man of Steel was fantastic. And then coming off of Brandon Routh's Superman, you know, that was.
I mean, itself. Like to my view, I haven't liked any of the Snyder things. I think he's a roided up maniac Scientologist. I think like the whole decision to do any Superman stuff as a kind of a Christ martyrdom story, just none of that kind of worked for me. Like, for my money personally, the last good Superman movie we got prior to this one was December 1980 with the second Christopher Reeves one. So technically within our lifetimes, but it's been like 4.5 decades since something's been.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, I did love Man of Steel. I thought trying to bring it back, and I think it could have gotten better if they, you know, if they did another one and built off of it, because they were just kind of rebooting it at that point. You know?
Right.
So I think it could have gone somewhere, but then again, for whatever reason,
like Batman v Superman, and then the Justice League thing, and like everything that they tried after that was just like a zag in the wrong direction. Yeah,
they whatever they're trying to. Well, to me, whatever they were trying to do in the DC universe, they were just like 20 steps behind the MCU, and they were just trying to copy that instead of, you know, do it your own way, man. Don't just try to jump on that bandwagon and get that money.
The corporate world, you know, that you know, it's a copy of a copy situation with what they ended up with.
So, I mean, with that being said, I thought overall David Cornsweet, if that's how you pronounce his last name, I hope I pronounced it correctly.
That's right.
I think he did a great job of trying to bridge that gap together. Yeah, there's funny parts, but he had his serious side to him, and he felt believable to me as a good, strong Superman, but still vulnerable there. Nicholas Hoult did pretty well as Lex Luthor. It definitely much better coming off of Jesse Eisenberg's version.
Oh, Christ. Yeah.
Or even, I mean,
people kind of defend the Kevin Spacey movie and like the Brandon Routh one, but nobody like that movie. Nobody's actually seen it, and it doesn't actually exist at all. So that doesn't really matter.
Right. I mean, again, Kevin Spacey did his thing, and he's not in the spotlight anymore because of stuff he's done. But you can't deny his acting skills. Very good. But also his Lex Luthor was not good. I mean, the whole storyline was just botched from the beginning. So that Brandon Routh,
right,
Kevin Spacey Superman is just should not have happened.
Yeah, right. To what I've read about this movie that does not actually exist, the whole thing is Superman is a deadbeat dad, and the only action things are 3 times he lifts really heavy stuff, and that's about it.
Yeah,
accurate.
Andy, how about yourself? Just general impressions for the film.
I, much like Naveen, when I went in, I was very hesitant. Not hesitant because I knew I was going to see it in the theater, but there was a part of me that was like, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times. I don't know.
You're not going to fool me again.
Yeah, you're not going to fool me. Right, exactly. And I was not convinced of, not so much of David Corn Sweat as Superman or even as Clark Kent. I was more, to be honest with you, I was more kind of so-so on the suit itself and sort of the look of the movie that I had been seeing for like the sort of behind the scenes photos.
Nobody got excited by the posters. Nobody got really worked up by the trailers at all.
Yeah. I kind of thought to myself, oh man, are they going to phone this one in too? I assumed that James Gunn was going to do the best he could to not phone it in and make a good movie, but it all comes down to the script. And if the script isn't good, then forget it. Yeah. I think Brandon Routh was done dirty because I think he could have been a pretty good Superman, all things considered, but that movie was terrible and it was flawed from the jump. I think Henry Cavill was an awesome Superman. I still think that when I think of Superman, at least for now, it'll always be Christopher Reeve first, but then it will be Henry Cavill. Yep. Henry Cavill will always come to mind. Just because of his look, not so much because of what I think he did with the character. Man of Steel was good. Everything after that was terrible. But I left this version 2025 really optimistic for not just what will come for Superman, because I'm sure we'll see another one, but also the direction that the DCEU is going in. I think if they're going to take a more kind of fun comic booky, less take myself so seriously air to the films moving forward.
And if like they say they do, they've got 10 years worth of very well written, extremely thought out movies ready to go. That's what's really exciting about this.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, I was kind of burnt out on the MCU. I am kind of burnt out on the MCU. I kind of don't care as much anymore. I'll still see Fantastic Four, but I'm not seeing everything they do like I was for the first couple of phases.
Right.
So yeah. Good opportunity for there to be more superhero in my life.
Eric and I sort of get into the more kind of nerdy comic book stuff with kind of this movie, on the separate interview that we did. But I came out of this movie elated, like everybody else. I didn't have a ton of high hopes for this. The trailers didn't look good. The promotional art didn't look the most exciting. But all that being said, The Suicide Squad was the best comic book movie that I'd seen in a really, really long time. Gunn is a guy that really loves the material, really has a handle on who these characters are, what these stories are, and how the different characters in these different stories are supposed to feel. And it's when you say comic book, that just describes a medium. That just describes like a book with a bunch of kind of words and kind of colorful pictures sort of painted into it. But the characters that are successful and the characters that are well known are successful and well known for the different stories, for the different tones, for the different themes and vibes that they put out. And all of these things are different. Comic book film, big, expensive, kind of high budget stuff works the best when somebody has at the helm that understands this kind of character is usually supposed to be this kind of, is supposed to be in this kind of story with this kind of tone and this kind of theme. James Gunn, I kind of harp at this like again on like the era conversation, but I think it's like very much worth repeating. Said repeatedly in interviews, like over like the last couple of years, like every time people ask him, tell us about this movie, why are you excited about it? Why do you think it's going to do well? And why has superhero stuff kind of been floundering like the last couple of years? He says, well, there's an extremely simple answer. Most comic book movies, particularly after the success of the MCU, have floundered, have kind of gotten stuck, have just kind of felt kind of just sort of weak or half thought out or incomplete because directors, because of the way the corporate structures are kind of run these days, nobody starts filming with a completed script. And that was the thing when I kind of went into, when I went to Warner Brothers, when we were having the conversation around making this movie, the thing I told them first is we get the script, that we get the story, we get every character's arc, all the main people, all like sort of like the side and kind of background stuff. We get everything figured out. So we have all our pages in day one and we know exactly the kind of movie that we're trying to make. To me, kind of sounded like kind of just kind of horseshit mumbo jumbo, but I saw this movie. Then I listened to like a bunch of other kind of pop podcasts and read a bunch of kind of reviews and discussions, and I saw this film again. The thing that really knocked me out about this film is like as I've been thinking about it, and as I went back to it the second time, as I listened to other people talk about it, I liked it more and more because it's such a movie that just not only knows what it wants to be, but it just does such a good job coloring into the corners, making the lead characters as kind of as authentic and convincing to the source material as he could, but also sort of building out like the world, like you know, just the fact that it has like almost like a little bit of a Star Wars kind of thing when you're in kind of the Lex Luthor pocket dimension, or when you're at the Daily Planet. The characters you see in the backgrounds who have like 2 lines, you get the sense that they are completely fleshed out characters who actually have their own lines, and like the story could at any point pivot to one of those characters and still have like a really just sort of like couple interesting things to kind of say about them. I really had like a lot of fun with this one, and it's been nice because like as you said, like the MCU stuff has so run out of steam like over like the last few years, and in a way that kind of feels corporate notey, in a way that kind of feels unnecessary. I just really had a bang up time with this.
Two things that I want to mention about the movie, and I guess maybe spoiler alert, kind of, probably not written, that I thought were absolutely fantastic. One is something that everybody is talking about. Mr. Terrific is just so good in that movie. He's fantastic. He's so good. But one of my favorite parts of the whole movie is when Superman is in Lois's apartment. No, is it Lois's apartment?
It's Lois's apartment.
Yeah.
You're talking about the interview at the beginning.
No. So later on, when
sure, when after Crypto has been abducted.
Yeah, but in the background, kind of over their shoulder, as they're having this serious conversation, there's like this battle going on between between Guy Gardner and like
Justice Gang.
Sorrow or whatever
Justice
the hell.
Gang. And like it's a dimensional imp. He's like, in like the B-listers can handle this one. He's like, I'm too sad about my dog.
And this is just going on, and nobody is remarking about it because this is obviously a world in which those sorts of things happen with some regularity. It's not, we're not just seeing another origin story of not just Superman, but origin story of this entire world that,
A great thing about this is everything starts in media res with like the superhero stories. Metahumans have been around for like a long time. The gods and monsters have been like around for like a long time. Kaijus and magic and trans-dimensional stuff, people can fly and crazy shit like that. It's just part of the world, and they don't worry about over-explain. Again, I think there's like a bit of like a Star Wars analog there you could go to.
Well, at the very beginning, when they give the, where there's like, you read the screen and it gives the story 300 years ago, 3,000, whatever it is. I
300
thought
years ago, the first metahumans appeared.
Yeah. What a beautifully simplistic, straight to the point way of laying down the groundwork for shit's art. We're going to hit the ground running with this stuff. None of this pearls hit the ground. And now we have Batman. Like, these things have already happened. Let's just, we all know these stories. We don't need to rehash them. We're going to jump right in. And I thought that was really a smart way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to actually comment that same thing. Even though it's a reboot, we're not going over again the origin of it. Lois Lane already knows he's Clark Kent and Superman. They're both the same, which was just great. It's like, all right, we don't have to go through Lex Luthor. He's already started the fight. This problem has already started the not the climax of the story, but the problem with the story is right at the beginning. It's not like they build up to it. It's like, all right, we already have this problem. We got to fix it.
This is a movie I love front to back, but maybe the most exciting part was that first 20-second text crawl. As I sit down and I've seen it twice. I can do it almost perfectly from memory. 300 years ago, the first metahumans appeared, entering in the era of gods and monsters. 30 years ago, an alien spaceship crashed on like a Kansas farm, like, and the a kindly couple raised like the baby they found inside. 3 years ago, Superman, now fully grown, makes his kind of presence known to the public. 3 weeks ago, Superman kind of stops a sort of a war between like these, like invasion between like these two sovereign nations. 30 minutes ago, an unknown metahuman named the Hammer of Baravia attacked the city of Metropolis. 3 minutes ago, Superman lost his first ever fight, and then he fucking crashes in like the fields of Antarctica, and you are off to the fucking races after that.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved.
I'd also like to call out Ma and Pa Kent. Talk about a completely different take on those two characters than we've seen in any of the other movies. Very much country, the
first time those characters have been depicted in a film with actual Kansas accents.
Yeah, well, there's that too. Yeah, absolutely. But just the fact that they're just like these regular kind of rubish people almost, and I say that lovingly, not as a dig,
right?
But they're very obviously simple folk. Ma Kent is a kind of a loose cannon in a lot of ways. She's just sort of her own thing. Pa Kent
is a complete sweetheart. Like seeing of him and Clark on like on the just kind of sitting on the front porch together. I mean, just wiped out the audience.
I thought that was great. It wasn't Kevin. It wasn't these like beautiful people. Kevin Costner and what's her name?
Diane Lane, I think was
I thought that was really cool.
The fact that it made it something as simple. This is a good guy largely because he was raised he was raised in a happy home with non-shitty parents. Is I mean, like that really that theme bookends the movie. It starts out, Superman's retreated to Fortress of Solitude, and he wants to see like the footage of his parents from Krypton, just like the little kind of cut off message of the two of them kind of telling him to go to Earth, be a hero, be a good person. Over the course of the movie, he discovers the truth about his parents is that they actually wanted him to go out and nut in a bunch of like Earth girls. And then it comes back around, and I'm just kind of curious with just how affecting this was the two of you as fathers. He's again sort of getting patched up at the Fortress of Solitude at the end of the movie, and the robots go, "Oh no, play the footage of his parents." That always kind of calms him down, and it's just a bunch of home movies of him growing up in Kansas.
That was beautiful. I thought that was so good. It wasn't what I was expecting. Yeah, because I actually thought in that scene he was going to end up saying something like, "I don't need to see that anymore. I know who I am," or whatever. But the whole movies thing was just
the moment is, I know who my real parents are now.
Yeah, and that was great. I thought that was because that is to me the heart of Superman's character.
Right.
To your point, like he's a good man because he was brought up by good people.
Yes. Naveen, anything to add there?
Not really. Yeah, I was going to bring up that same thing of that age-old question of nature versus nurture kind of thing.
Yeah.
just that same idea that you guys were just talking about. And I agree. They brought in great parents to show that. And, obviously that nurturing part took over more than the nature part, I suppose, of him supposedly, taking over the whole Earth, whole planet.
Let's circle back to his Kryptonian parents in just a little bit, but I want to kind of talk for a few minutes, get your guys' opinions about sort of the true, just the true breakout shining star of the film. Talking, of course, about Krypto the dog. At no point, all CGI. At no point was a real kind of dog used in any single sort of scene that he's in. But the two of you, as kind of dog papas yourself, how'd you feel about Krypto in the movie?
Naveen, go ahead.
You want me to go? I was gonna say you got this one first because I took the first one last time, but I'll go first. Yeah. I don't know. I loved it. I thought it was great. I was, at first, I didn't really actually. Did I watch trailers? I don't think I did, but I heard about there being a dog in it, and again, at first I was worried about going to see this movie, and then hearing about this dog, it seemed like it was a gimmick, just to
be some pandering, cutesy, annoying thing to sell.
Right. And again, some kind of gimmick to get you to watch it, to make it a little bit different than the other ones, because none of the other ones had a dog really in it. But I think it was just, it added to Gunn's comedic aspect in it to bring in that levity in there, just so it's not too serious of a thing. And I just thought it was just a lot of fun, and yes, definitely using him to help out in the end of destroying all the cameras and things.
But it's kind of fascinating that like 70% of the time he's a shitty, terrible dog.
Yes,
he's actively setting back everything that's trying to be done, in the movie itself. But then when you get right up to the point, and he whimpers or he licks a baby's face, or he just kind of does a thing, just kind of running around looking at cows or something like that. And it's Andy, how about yourself?
So when I heard that they were bringing Krypto into it, I thought to myself, so Krypto is going to be the Jar Jar Binks of the superhero.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I thought he was just, he's going to be on every T-shirt. He's going to be, Krypto stuffed animals and all that. And that may still be true.
There's going to be Krypto themed Krypto.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's still probably going to happen.
Right.
That all may still happen if it hasn't already.
Right.
But I think the fact that Gunn didn't phone it in with Krypto, that Gunn actually made him an integral part of the story, of the plot, of the culmination of the movie. Also, and maybe this is canon and I was not aware of this because I honestly don't know much about Krypto, but the fact that Krypto is Supergirl's dog and that he's just being dog sitter while she's off planet getting drunk on some other, I don't know, wherever the hell she was.
On some planet with a red sun that actually doesn't hyper accelerate their metabolism so she can get fucked up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she comes back and she's still a little bit shitty, and the dog goes with her and evidently will be a part of the next movie in the progression, which will be Supergirl.
Right.
I thought that Gunn took what could very easily have been just a stupid comedic crutch and actually made it more than that. The fact that, to your point, Johnny, that he was just an awful dog for the majority of the movie, causing trouble, not listening, kind of doing whatever he wants to do.
So I didn't grow up with dogs, have never had a dog like my childhood or my adult life. How accurate of a dog was this? Again, miraculously, completely CGI dog. Did you guys sort of feel like did you see like kind of parts of Krypto in Coco and Ace?
So CGI modeled after James Gunn's actual
rescue dog, right.
Yeah, I would say if you've got, so there's very little of my dog Coco in Krypto, but that's just because they're very different dogs. When you've got a dog, so the dog that I grew up with was a husky and an Alaskan Malamute mix.
Oh, wow.
His name was Bert, B-U-R-T.
Great dog, man.
Possibly the dumbest animal. No, possibly the dumbest creature to ever walk the planet Earth. I know that that sounds like hyperbole. It's not. That dog. It's amazing that that dog survived long enough for, God forbid, rest in peace. He did end up dying from cancer. The fact that he made it long enough for cancer to take him out was a miracle.
Wow.
At any rate, Bert was a good dog at heart and a shitty dog in every other possible way.
Right.
And yeah, Crypto kind of nails it. Yeah.
Naveen, anything to add there? You're really just kind of grinning right now.
No, it's just funny because also I'm remembering, I believe, I don't know which episode it was, but I think you told us about Bert jumping off the second story window or the attic window.
Third story. Yep. That's correct.
Trying to get his own crypto on
that story and like
it may have been The Thing.
Yeah, okay. And I just find it pretty, or no, Best in Show probably, because it was talking about dogs.
Maybe. Yeah.
Right,
that might be right.
Right, yeah. But it was just funny hearing that, and apparently, surviving and not breaking any limbs doing that.
I mean, he must have landed head first.
I guess so. But as for the question at hand, I mean, I guess it depends. I mean, you hear about it all the time, and it kind of goes hand in hand. You see Supergirl's not very responsible, but wants a dog and has a dog. So
right.
Yeah, when you see those owners who are like, yeah, I want a dog.
Everything falls into place when she sort of shows up at the end.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of like, now I'm going to mention, because my father, in addition to kind of like, we would watch kind of like a lot of Superman cartoons growing up, would occasionally buy me some reprints of kind of Silver Age kind of Superman cartoons, which were kind of Superman comics from this old comic book store called My Mother Threw Mine Away in Torrington. So it's just an interesting thing with like kind of like the Silver Age kind of Superman comics. They were all fucking weird in one way or the other. It'll be like one thing like, why is Superman fighting a dragon in this one? Or why in this one is he kissing a mermaid? Whatever else. Now, canonically, I do have to like offer a bit of correction. Like technically in the comics, I believe it's Krypto is Superman's dog, who is extremely well trained and kind of well behaved. Supergirl was not Krypto's owner. She actually, our listeners can kind of fact check me on this, but like her pet was, if I remember correctly, called Spunky the Wonder Cat. It was a super-powered orange cat. Of course, it's an orange cat because they're all actually like aliens, like that also kind of well depicted in like in the Captain Marvel movies. But yeah, it's this fucking drunk party girl kind of shows up at the end. She's like, "Where's my dog? Where's my dog?" And the dog is just the happiest you've ever seen him. Goes flying at her, and it's one of these things. Again, it's why I love this kind of script so much. The whole time you can kind of be squinting and going like, just a guy like Clark, who seems smart, responsible, raised on a fucking farm, should actually know how to kind of just kind of train a dog correctly, and sort of even that bow gets tied up by like the end of the movie.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing during the movie when I watched it. I was like, how is that possible that it's not a well-trained dog? And like, oh, okay. That makes sense.
So let's pivot like a little bit to like the other performances like in the film.
Actually,
Brosnahan. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt. Before we do,
Yeah.
I've been wondering this, and your just memory is impeccable, because I wouldn't, even on a second watch, I probably would not remember that whole monologue from the
For
beginning.
comic book stuff, I couldn't tell you what I did at work last week.
But as I was watching it, and then as you went through it again, I was wondering, is there some kind of correlation or really prominent thing with the number 3? Because everything was threes. It was 3,000, 300, 30, 3, 3, 3.
It comes back. Superman and Lois have been dated for 3 months. I kind of see it as is just kind of like a fun little stylistic thing, similar to how in Dune Part 2, Christopher Walken is the Emperor of Space, but they give him a Queen's accent that he really he leans into. I think I think it's just kind of a fun, and there's this people. It may be a little bit tied to people find alliteration, people kind of find kind of repeated sounds sort of pleasing. I don't know that there's I having seen the movie twice, I didn't peg anything more. Oh well, you know what? Superman, Lois, and Lex. You know, there's like another three right there. Like, you know, it's really about like a story about those three people ahead of everyone else. Yeah. That's all I got off the dome. No. But speaking of, let's kind of talk about the other performances real quick. Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane.
She was great.
Yeah. I thought she was great. Very well. Yeah.
I always hated Margot Kidder's version from the Christopher Reeve version. I don't know why. I can't even necessarily pinpoint anything about it, but there was always something about her that bothered me in those movies.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought she was very good. And then fast forward to Brandon Routh, and I'm trying to remember
Kate
the actor.
Bosworth.
Yes, Kate Bosworth was just
most famous for like a movie called Blue Crush, where on the cover on like the poster, she's wearing a blue bikini.
Yep.
That's really that's like the entirety of her acting career.
She was just there as Lois Lane. I don't think that she really played any major role whatsoever. Then you fast forward again, and you've got Amy Adams, who was good. She was fine. You know, and she's a very good actress. I think she was a little bit miscast in that role. Personally, I don't really get her in that. But I think Rachel Brosnahan just absolutely kills it.
Yeah, every before my thing, Naveen, tag on.
All right, you sure? You need to go last?
Yeah, I need to collect myself a little bit.
Yeah, I would have to agree. She sold it well. She was a strong female character, which I think I liked. You know, she wasn't just always in distress either. You know, it's like, oh, save me, and it
never actually gets rescued at any point during the movie.
Yeah,
right.
I think that was a really smart move on Gunn's part too, to not have her be rescued in any way.
That repetitive Lois Lane thing, or you know, even in Spider-Man, the Mary Jane thing.
Yep.
So I thought that was great, but again, it was a strong female lead, which I thought was great, going after the story, trying to figure things out, even the relationship aspect of it, especially with that interview in the beginning, where she was just trying to, you know, like, look, we're doing this interview, but we're doing this interview. And
I love that scene because like Clark is not even like a dummy in that scene, but Lois is just always a step or two ahead of him the entire conversation. It is so well acted. There is so much chemistry like between the two. Like, you know, they're both so just excellent as performers.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, again, I think she sold it and did a great job because of those things. The biggest thing again is being, you know, not a damsel in distress at every moment and things, which made it work much better.
Yeah, a complete and total smoke show. Amazing comedy instincts, amazing acting. We kind of like shared like a YouTube short of her singing to like a little kind of Bichon that was wearing kind of like a Superman cape, and like Naveen was like, she's a beautiful woman, but like, how do you look anywhere but the eyes?
Yeah,
because it's so smart, so dynamic, so sexy. I think it just knock out the park for her.
Yep.
Going from that to Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. What did you guys think?
You got this one.
So I always wanted to see, in my head, the perfect casting of Lex Luthor, and it's too late now, would have been Leonardo DiCaprio. I always thought that he would be able to just really own that role and do something different with it than anybody else had done prior to. So that being said, and in my mind, he was should always have been the guy. So anybody that would have gotten cast as Lex Luthor moving forward, I think I was going to always compare to that.
Right.
I know that there was some talk for a while that maybe Bryan Cranston was going to take the role, and I thought that was too on the nose after he played Walter
Too
White.
on the nose. Also, I think kind of too old for like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And I don't think he did I didn't like him in the as a villain in the Total Recall reboot as well.
I never saw that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he played that villain part well in that movie.
Okay.
He might have been fun if he was Quato.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult is a fun actor. I've liked him in a lot of stuff. I thought he was great in Mad Max. I thought he was, he was really good, and he's been good in a lot of things that I've seen him in.
The Menu, Nosferatu.
Yeah, The Menu was great. I thought he was pretty good in Nosferatu.
Yeah.
So I was willing to kind of give him a shot. I think I thought he was good, not great. But I think that there's a lot of room for that character to evolve over the course of time and maybe make me like him a lot more. So I'm going to say like 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10.
Right. Or 2 stars on your Letterboxd account, like the way.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Naveen, how about yourself?
I thought he did pretty well. I enjoyed his performance. Sometimes some of the writing seemed kind of weird why he was, they didn't quite explain it. Like explain it sometimes a little bit, but why he was just so infatuated with Superman and taking him down.
We can circle back to that.
But for the most part, he kind of pulled it off, and I liked the way he did it. And again, coming off of Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor was like, he didn't have a very
the worst
high bar,
version of just
to
really
terrible
beat. Even like again going back to the Spacey's version of Lex Luthor, the only one would be Gene Hackman's version to really kind of setting that bar.
For my money, in the modern age, any DC stuff that's been made like the last 10, 20 years or so, honestly, like the standard bearer Lex Luthor performance, Giancarlo Esposito as Lex Luthor in the Harley Quinn animated series is fucking fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've talked about that series a bunch of times. I've still never watched it.
The first 2 seasons are completely genius. It's pretty good after that. I actually kind of got my brother into it really kind of not too long ago. It's if you got like a little free time, it's certainly one kind of just picking up and like watching a couple episodes of.
Yeah.
Is that on HBO Max there?
It's on HBO Max.
Yeah. Right.
This is a cartoon series that does a Valentine's Day special that has interstitial couple interviews, like kind of punctuating what's happening in the main story. The couple interviews start with Superman and Lois Lane. The couple interviews end with Darkseid and Melania Trump. So it's one of those shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Specifically written for me and like 6 other people, but that's another thing. Lex Luthor for me. I dug how kind of outwardly political like a lot of this film actually was. It's saying some direct things about sort of about involuntary incarceration. It's saying like a lot of things about ICE. It's saying things about sort of the Israeli invasion of Gaza and the U.S. kind of government being complicit in it. Like I love the fact that in this one, you watch the original Superman movies, like the bit Lex Luthor's sort of big sort of kind of mask of legitimacy is that he's a real estate developer. Like the whole plot of the first Superman movie is he's trying to create an earthquake that will basically make Inland Empire, California, like kind of beachfront property. I love in like this new one that he's kind of a combination, like it's mostly Elon Musk. There's some Jeff Bezos. There's like a little bit of kind of Trump in there, but I love the fact he's a fucking self-hating tech bro who he gets kind of confronted by sort of Superman at the end of the movie. He's like, "What is your deal?" And he's like, "I just hate you."
Yeah,
hate you, and that's the alpha and the omega of it. I thought he did a phenomenal job. A thing some people worried about is in the promotional kind of trailers for like this movie, you see kind of Superman kind of getting his ass kicked a lot. You kind of see him on his back foot. It's a problem in kind of Superman's story is that you either have to make him so strong, and this is in kind of comic book storytelling, you make him so strong that he doesn't feel like there's a threat at any point, or weak enough that he's kind of getting his ass kicked constantly. Again, it speaks to the smartness of the script. I love kind of the reveal by the end that Superman kind of gets his ass kind of handed to him by what's first the Hammer of Arabia and then Ultraman, but then you find out it's his clone at the end of the day. He gets he loses a couple times against this guy because it's basically a clone of him. Some guy is equally as strong as him, but with Lex Luthor basically he's kind of screaming video game kind of cheat codes into his ear the entire time.
Yeah.
All of it kind of just makes sense in context. Let's kind of go to like any other sort of like a sort of side character. Eric wanted us, because we didn't have a chance to touch on this in our interview yesterday, but he wanted us to talk a few minutes about the relationship between Jimmy Olsen and Lex Luthor's girlfriend Eve. Yeah, played by Sarah Sampaio, who is just for the record a Portuguese Victoria's Secret model in real life, and was honestly like one of the funniest. You would never know she was anything but like just like a really kind of gifted, kind of funny comedic character actress.
Yep, I agree with that.
But how'd you guys feel about that little subplot?
The fact that the guy that they got to play Jimmy Olsen, forgive me, I don't know his name, is not an unattractive guy,
right,
you know, by conventional whatever, but like also not
just
like
a regular looking dude at the end of it.
Regular looking dude, good looking guy, but certainly not anything to like, you know, write home about, I wouldn't think. But somehow he's got just all kinds
Tyler Cassando, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's got women coming after him. He's got this woman who has, you know, who's with Lex Luthor, but she's secretly in love with Jimmy Olsen, and he's not interested in her because she has weird feet.
He has her in his phone as mutant toes.
Mutant toes, because she has weird feet. He's not into her, even though she's
in this Portuguese Victoria's Secret.
Yeah. And the line where she says he has to spend the weekend with her.
He's trying to get, they're trying to find Superman. He's trying to get dirt on whatever Lex has done to him. She's like, I have a bunch of stuff I can send you. Can we spend the weekend together? And he's just like, whole weekend?
Yeah. I thought that was it was really funny. Hillary turns to me and goes, "What did I miss something? Why do all these women want this guy? Like, what's happening?"
The same way.
It's some guys we've probably all known at least one like in our lives.
Yeah,
just have some fucking thing, and it's never the motherfucker that you expect.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, I don't have anything more to say to that. Again, it was great comedic effect. It was a great way to tell the story that you know this is how they're getting the info, which I thought was well done. So bringing that whole idea into it really worked for the storyline, and so again, and didn't just be like, oh, I just figured it out kind of thing. It's
right.
Like, no. There's this little love affair going on, and
again, painting in the corners. Everybody has a bit more backstory and a bit more characterization than they actually kind of showed in the movie. Like that's one of the things I think that makes that this movie as kind of effective and as honestly immersive as it actually is.
Well, the fact that she's in the background of like every major scene, just taking selfies the whole time, and you just think that she's just some like vapid, you know, whatever,
just Insta model or whatever else.
Yeah. And it gets revealed that she's like basically spying for the, you know, or maybe not even spying. I think I read it more as like she was just kind of trying to get dirt just in case, kind of thing.
It's kind of like she's sort of kind of like playing the percentages. She's like, it's kind of it's a little bit. She's kind of into Lex, but she's kind of at the same time sort of thinking, well, if this might get Jimmy's attention at the end of the day. Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool move. That was really good.
Any other kind of other performances or kind of side characters like you guys kind of want to shout out real quick?
Yeah, I found it interesting his whole headquarters, and then it's being run by robots. I was not familiar with that stuff from comic books, or even from the earlier.
This has been a cartoon. This has been a comic character for like a century. Sometimes it's just it's like oh no, Lex Luthor is just like a really kind of smart kind of Godfather sort of like level dude. Other times it's like his intellect is almost sort of kind of magical and superpower. Like they've done every single version of that sort of like Lex Luthor kind of power set within like the stories themselves.
I wasn't really referring to that. I was referring to Superman's headquarters.
Oh, yeah, the forces.
Yeah, how he had his robots that would help him out and things, which was pretty neat. That he wasn't kind of doing it on his own. I also like the idea that, again, yes, it was revealed at the end. It was a clone of Superman, so that's why he was getting beat up. But it wasn't just kryptonite that was hurting him. Like that wasn't his only weakness. It was a clone of himself that could take him out. And obviously, again, a very smart guy who studied his
better
for years.
Version of himself. It's kind of like when you would play like sort of like a Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter against like your friends back in the day, and one guy there was always one guy who had the whole book memorized.
Yeah.
And even though you kind of think you're on equal footing, just one guy just had more of the moveset like off the top of his head.
Yeah. And the only time they really wanted to use the kryptonite was just to keep him in the pocket dimension.
Right.
Yeah.
Which brings up another character that I think was really cool, which was the guy. Is it Metamorpho?
Yes. He's played. Did either of you guys watch Barry?
Yes.
Okay. So the bald albino guy from Barry. I forget the actor's name, but he played.
Yeah. Yeah. He was actually also in
a lot of things.
Death of a Unicorn that I watched on the airplane this past week. He was one of the more redeeming parts of that movie, and there weren't many. Yeah, I thought he was great. I thought he played that part really, really well. I hope that we see more of that character, moving forward. I thought he was cool. And then the other character that I wanted to mention, because literally nobody has mentioned her throughout this entire thing, and I have mixed feelings, I guess, is the other sort of bad guy character.
The engineer, like the woman that was made of nanobots, right?
I feel like they made like that. I thought that was the one maybe misstep in the writing, is that she was just sort of like generic bad guy.
Nanobots are a very it's an extremely dull comic book conceit, because what's this technology? It's just magic. That's all it is. It's just magic.
Yeah. I thought it was a shame that they kind of that one felt a little bit phoned in, but made all the better, I guess, or not made up for, I guess, by Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, and by the woman who plays
Isabella Merced, who has been in about 1 billion. I mean, she was in Madam Web. She's a big part of the second season of The Last of Us. She was the star of the live action Dora the Explorer. Yep.
I thought she was great. I really liked her a lot. She's awesome in Last of Us too. If anybody is watching that, I'm in the middle of second season right now, and it's really, really good. Very, very, very good.
Right.
Yeah, I watched both seasons of those, and yeah, she's very good in that.
Yeah,
I kind of felt, I mean, probably for good reason, but I kind of felt she was underutilized in Superman. They did more Mr. Terrific. And
they put so much comic book shit into this movie that, I mean, like the most frequent and very mild complaint I've heard from everybody is like, they could have even done this story without the Justice Gang characters and still had more than enough meat on the bone, more than enough just kind of characters and stories to tell.
I mean, although it was a way to bring in Mr. Terrific, how do you think they would have brought in Mr. Terrific if they got rid of that? Because he was a pretty integral part.
Yeah, he was.
The whole thing.
Yeah, and again, they didn't get the Green Lantern, and they got a Green Lantern in, which I still thought was pretty fun. When Nathan Fillion is basically just using like a bunch of kind of giant hands to basically kind of slap Netanyahu's kind of tank brigade part. And you see like the one hand comes up that actually has like the middle finger sticking out. I'm like, this is I would have lost my goddamn mind if I had seen this like as a kid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So but let's kind of cycle back to kind of final question for the night, then let's wrap up. So Andy, you saw this with your wife. With kids also in attendance for this?
My wife, yes, we all went. Actually, no. Anna did not go. She did not have any interest. So it was
Really?
me, my wife, Charlie, and then my buddy Brian and his son. Nope, that's a lie. Brian wasn't there either. I take it back. It was just me, Hillary, Charlie, and Jack, who's Charlie's friend.
Okay. So how did Hill and how like the kids? What did they think of the film?
So Hillary liked it. She's not nearly as much of a comic book geek as you know I am, as we are, but she really enjoyed it. The boys loved it. They walked out saying how much they thought Corn Sweat was amazing, and how I mean, Charlie, I haven't seen him that lit up and that geeked out over something in a while. He spent the entire car ride home giving us a dissertation on Superman and what he's supposed to be and all this kind. I mean, like as if he
the literal Gen Z Naruto child was excited about the Superman movie. That is wild to hear.
He was just over the moon about it.
And Naveen, how about yourself?
It was just my wife and my stepson. It was just three of us that went, and they enjoyed it as well. We didn't talk too much about it. We talked about it a little bit, but so it wasn't that big for the others. You know, my wife likes the movies and things, but again, not a big into it. And I think a little bit of just the massiveness of the MCU that kind of took over. They're in the process of comparing it. In comparison to that, it wasn't.
It was nice to kind of go back to something simple and focused that you didn't feel like you had to do homework actually coming into it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So they enjoyed it, but didn't do much there. That big conversations were had.
Yeah. Well, let's kind of wind down on this. I have not in my adult life recommended to my personal mom, Pa, Kent, Peter, and Solveig to actually sort of go out and like see like a comic book movie. But I was on the phone with them the other day. My mom, being a very, very big comic book, being a big Superman fan, but there's nothing that has come out since 1980 that she has liked or that I would recommend to her. I told them, the two of you should go to this. It's really a lot of fun. It just gets back to so much like the original spirit of it. So last night, and a little, for like the listener, they'll have seen this already, but Andy, as usual, has some superlative episode art for his. Let's just kind of say like his own kind of like what his kind of depiction of Superman and crypto and like the vagaries of kind of pet ownership. But the final like edition of kind of like the drawing he did, I sent to my parents. I'm like, this just another sort of great piece of Andy artwork. My mom and dad over the weekend saw Superman, and this is an email that I woke up to from my father this morning. So let's kind of close on this. John, you are so lucky to have Andy on your team. He oozes with talent. I would sign him to a multi-year deal, no matter what salary he asks for. Dad always finds a way to baseball into this. Mom and I went to see the new Superman movie. The series has certainly moved on since I started watching it in the 1950s. Now you can't even see the thin rope holding up Superman as he flies. And Perry White did not utter his favorite oath, "Great Caesar's ghost," even once. This was a serious omission. Put this up briefly. For like the Wire fans, Perry White in this, played by Wendell Pierce, who was so friggin' great as Detective Bunk on The Wire. Great Caesar's ghost, kind of like more like a white guy expression. More Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think that's right.
just confirm it. Okay, so
Yeah.
probably it's sad omission, but it's probably kind of like done smartly.
Too many Jillikers.
Yeah.
Amazing it took us this long to do that poll. Rates users ghost even once. That was a serious omission. On a final note, I think that Lex Luthor and his gang nailed it with their very accurate portrayal of 2025 Republicans. I say, quote, Oscars for them all. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what needs to be said?
Well, yeah. Man, great movie. One of the true hits of the summer. Just some I've been excited to talk to you guys about. I've been thinking about, and it seems to kind of be a thing that everybody likes, and that's exciting because at the same time there's been this sort of Fox News it's parents who have been going like kind of woker man, and it's like weighing in like the immigration like debate. I sometimes make the mistake of looking at comments on internet articles that I really shouldn't, just how the kind of sadistic stuff. And what has been maybe the most exciting thing for me recently is kind of looking at comments where somebody just truly demented insane says something, and the first like 5 responses that you'll see to that is like, this guy's clearly just like a monkey in a pocket dimension. Man, James Gunn, Superman 2025. What a treat! What a surprise! Just
Nailed it.
Yeah, right. It was a very good movie. Think you should check it out. Actually, I wanted to say one quick thing. I know Andy, I think at the beginning of the podcast, mentioned it about how he saw trailers and the look of Spider-Man you didn't like too much. I guess.
Superman, but yes,
yeah. No, I saw trailers that I didn't like.
The look of him in the trailers, like
I didn't love the suit. I just didn't love the suit when I first saw it. It's grown on me. Yeah,
and I kind of liked it. And I guess one thing I want to say about it, it kind of mixes old and new together. Like the look of it was like the old, even Christopher Reeve, even a little bit older kind of look, but it had the extra lines to make it a little bit more modern.
Yeah.
I will add the internet thirsting between Superman and Lex Luthor has already, the 2 weeks this film has gotten out of control. People need to calm down. The funniest letterbox review I've read in that regard. I end the conversation and that I have with Eric as supplemental to this episode. I end with kind of my recount of that review. Little fun thing, kind of stick around to like the end of the episode proper if you want to like hear that. But I saw a YouTube short pop up earlier today. It was just Nicholas Hoult having a hard time opening a water bottle. Turns around, David Corenswet is standing there. He puts his very, very large hand on top of Nicholas Holt's very, very small one. He takes the water bottle, he opens it up, he gives him like a little smooch on the cheek. You people should be ashamed of yourselves. Just keep it behind closed doors.
Right.
Yeah. Isn't there a picture or maybe a little video of that whole? The other thing that's been going off is that whole CEO and HR affair thing at the
right.
Yeah.
What happened at Foxborough the other day?
Yeah. Oh. Isn't there one of Lex Luthor and Superman of them posing together in that same position?
I sent Eric one from X-Men, Cyclops and who the fuck, like the White Queen, basically just getting cuddled up. Emma Frost.
Emma Frost, yeah.
Kind of cuddled up like the same way. I don't know too much of that story that just hit over the weekend from having worked in like the tech industry for about like a quarter century. Any guy at that level in his company is only got there because he's a complete and utter psychopath. So whatever happens to him now, he deserves that and worse. So
gotcha.
I think that's probably right.
Yeah.
Right. Wasn't trying to bring it up, but I'm just trying to bring up. I think.
That's coming. Like the
made those poses.
Thing,
with the characters and things.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If it doesn't exist already, it certainly will now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Andy.
We'll see what kind of time I have on my hands.
That always means no. Okay, episode 60, Rebels Without a Pod. Stick around after this through the magic of Naveen's editing. A little side conversation I had with Eric last night that's a lot nerdier, a lot more geeky, and a lot less sophisticated than this. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure as always. Next week, we don't know what we're doing.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, I never know what I'm doing.
Right,
so.
right. But specifically on this show.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
we
right,
have
right.
some kind of idea.
Definitely don't know.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, we're looking forward to whatever's coming next. So, guys, pleasure as always. Talk to everybody in a little bit.
Definitely
Bye.
good. All right. The goggles do nothing.
Okay, so this is a little interstitial segment that that Eric and myself are recording ahead of time. Unfortunately, with some travel that he's got coming up, he's not going to be able to make the full record of the Superman 2025 Superman podcast that we have coming up on the mainline feed in a few days. But Eric, kind of being, just like an avid comic fan, probably like the biggest sort of comic reader and enthusiast, like an entire show. I didn't feel right doing the episode, but not kind of getting just like a few minutes of his thoughts kind of down on the whack. So that's why we're talking right now. I will say though ahead of time that just before the record started, Eric was staring me directly in the eyes and just yelling, 1A, 1A. 1A. So like the vibes are like a little, I'm kind of on my back foot. It's a little aggressive feeling here at the moment, but buddy,
look, right
Superman, let's talk about it.
I go for the face. I'm not going to sneak up on you. I'm going right for the face.
Mm-hmm.
You see it coming at you.
20,000 possible moves. The guy clearly did not grow up in Worcester.
Yeah. Look at me.
So let's the Superman real quick before we kind of get into the new film itself. What's your kind of history kind of growing up? Was this a comic that you read? Were they into the cartoons at all? Was this something that, just kind of, there was so little for guys our age comic content kind of growing up, and like the fact that there were 4 feature-length Superman films of extremely varying quality by the time we were 7. That's a little bit unusual for that. But let's talk a little bit. What's your history with the character?
History with Superman, not much. I told you before, I can't for the life of me remember the Superman theme song by John Williams.
Really?
Okay.
Yes.
Even watching the latest one, I'm like, am I gonna get like a hint?
It's really close to, like you said, like it butts right up against like 2 or 3 other things.
Superman.
Right.
Puts on his cape like a good man can. I don't remember it. Growing up, I have very limited exposure to Superman, probably other than people our age who were exposed to the whole Death of Superman saga.
A book that I had the complete collection of. I bought it probably actually
Not alone.
To visit my uncle in Boston. It was one of the first things I picked up the first time I set foot inside of Newberry Comics, if my memory kind of serves.
I still remember the Death of Superman. It came in like a plastic sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those things they didn't want to spoil it for anybody. They had all these different collector's editions of it.
Sure.
And it was an epic fight.
Yeah.
All the other shit tied in with it, maybe not so much. But I remember that moment where it's like Superman. I didn't know much about Superman other than he's just super strong and he just fights a lot of, weird people. And this guy shows up, Doomsday, that's just going to beat the shit out of him and fucking obliterate him.
The entire time. So what about the return of Superman cycle that followed that, where basically 4 replacements sort of arose at the same time? There was the cyborg Superman.
Such a cool concept.
Right.
I loved that. And then they had the what was it? Maybe the rebirth of Superman. They had that. It was kind of like the Uncle Jesse of Superman shows up, where he has like the long, like shaggy mullet.
Right.
And I think maybe he's wearing a silver suit or something like that. And they're like, "Are you
Superman?" Going, "Oh, have mercy!
Have mercy! Where's Doomsday? You have mercy.
I remember about the return of Superman run, where basically sort of like these four kind of copycat Supermen come out. Yep. One is like a Superboy figure that's a clone. One is a cyborg that is very, very obviously Brainiac, but it comes out that he's kind of Brainiac later on. There is John Smith, I think was his name, who became Steel, was kind of sort of considered
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. He was the spiritual sort of successor character that who was eventually played by Shaq, like in a movie like a few years later.
Oh God, no way, really?
Right. Wow. And then there's one other like electricity guy that ended up being like an alien or something, just completely evil.
Something like that. Yeah.
Any memory of this at all?
I do remember the there's four of them. I couldn't remember the fourth one. Yeah, maybe you're right. Electricity something. I don't remember. No, actually, the shaggy mullet Superman I think of, he was dressed all in black. I think he had like a black spandex on or something like that. Right.
Well, it's a really great, really entertaining comic run, and I remember like the way that they kind of phrased it is one of these four guys is the actual Superman.
They did, yeah.
The reveal if you actually sort of buy the collected book, you get about like 3/4 of the way through the book, and with no fanfare, with no explanation whatsoever, the real Superman just falls out of a tank. And I think like to your point, he has like a black outfit and a big shaggy mullet, and he's just looking around kind of going, what's going on?
He's back.
Yeah,
he's back.
Yeah.
I tried going back and reading that in the last 5 years. It doesn't age too well. Although they keep I do like how people keep showing up to like the Superman monument or whatever, and Lois Lane's there, and they're all like, he's not dead. There's no way he could have died.
There's this sort of kind of cult of personality, sort of like kind of he's like a messiah, sort of like which is like the thematic thing like a lot of Superman kind of stories take. Is this guy Jesus kind of maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
And any so like pivoting from that a bit, how do you feel about sort of like the previous filmography of one Mr. James Gunn?
Oh, I thought you were going to go to like the Zack Snyder stuff.
Not worth discussing.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of it except for Batman vs Superman, which was somebody's mom. Some
fucking thing I saw on a plane.
Someone's mom. Something.
Yeah. Bottom of the barrel.
Look, Ben Affleck needs work just like everybody else. He needs love. He doesn't have J-Lo, or maybe he does. I don't know.
He's got ex-wives. He's got a pretty bad dunks habit.
He's got a lot of debt. He's a gambling issue.
Right. Little brother not helping out.
All this anger.
Right. No. Let's go straight to Gunn.
Gunn. I love Gunn. Again, Guardians of the Galaxy. I enjoyed all those films.
How about when we were around our mid-20s? How about his great horror film Slither? Any memory or like?
Oh, Slither.
Yeah. Elizabeth Banks, Michael.
She was in that. I do remember that.
Michael Rooker, who was in Mallrats and later played Yondu in the Guardians.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I know she is. I do remember that film. Fudge. It was a while back. That's a pull. I didn't realize that was James Gunn. I do remember it was a horror comedy. That's about it.
Just a really fun, well-made, kind of nasty.
What were they? Were they leeches or something like that, or some kind of alien leech thing?
It's vaguely kind of hentai, sort of kind of tentacly, like everything else. You know,
I should remember it better then.
Right. Well, it implies more than it delivers. We can kind of like leave it at that. But
it's fair.
But you were a fan of the Guardians movies.
Yeah, love the Guardians movies. I didn't think I would. It's one of those things where you're watching it. It's just a bunch of weird choices that all just seem to work out in the end. And the chemistry between all the characters. I love the fact that I love it when even Avengers, the first Avengers, where you have all these kind of characters, different backgrounds, different personalities, all being forced to kind of like work together for like one main like purpose or goal. And while it
doesn't always
end, somehow, some way they're able to accomplish what they need to do. And from that, they learn that, maybe it's better to be part of a group rather than an individual.
Sure. It's like the found family. We're all kind of like sort of fucked up, like in sort of like different ways, kind of thing. The stories we've been telling. since the beginning of
I
time.
will say this: I've gone back to the first one many times. The
Mhm.
second one, a few times. The third one, I watched at the theater. Have not gone back to it.
You took your parents to the third
I
one.
did. I did.
And you said they had a pretty good time with it.
Yeah. That. Oh my god, that one. It's tough too. If you love animals,
Yes.
that's a very hard one to kind of sit through calmly and enjoy a film.
It's my favorite of the three Guardians movies. Similar to you, it's probably a movie I won't watch ever again because just even not really sort of being like the biggest animal guy, but just like you know, like the fact that there's two things on just on its face, it's rough, but Gunn also, I think, just in like the third movie, made the very smart decision, like the very smart acknowledgement of like Chris Pratt is not the lead character of these movies. He's not. He's shouldn't be the main like protagonist. He's not the most. It took 3 movies to kind of get there, but he's like Rocket Raccoon is the star and lead of these things. Absolutely.
That was great. That was great. Because even if you watch do you watch the Christmas special?
I did, yeah. I mean, it
was kind of blockbuster. It was all right. They reveal that Mantis is, Chris Pratt's sister, some weird bullshit
which
you don't really need to know or care about.
Right.
But yeah, I do like how they just change it up the third one, and why not? I mean, you already got 2 Chris Pratt movies.
Yeah,
let's do something different. No, I'm sorry, 2. You got 5. Let's see. You got Mario Brothers, Super Mario. You got Garfield.
Which he was
you
not
got the Lego
bad.
Movie.
He was not bad at all in the Mario, like the Mario movie.
How many times have you seen that film?
Once in English, once in Japanese.
Okay. Yeah.
Peachy.
Peachy.
I sound like a 4-year-old Japanese kid singing Peachy. Just off the top of his lungs as I was exiting the theater with my girlfriend. It was amazing.
Yes, I'm telling you, Jack Black. We discovered him way too early.
Word.
Kids discovering way too late.
Really, very, very kind of brief aside. I just mentioned this because it's insane, and you're maybe the only person that will understand this.
Okay.
So you remember, Rocket has his 3 friends. Like the other experimented on animals who all tragically die.
Yeah.
And like the lead one is like the otter on like the little kind of like unicycle or whatever. She is Leela. I think her name was.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
I'm not one of these kind of cinema sins, critique the storytelling or the continuity or just getting all sort of fussy or hung up. But these are fucking movies for kind of children at the end of the day. I don't care if things don't always make sense or not quite consistent. Leela, the little experimented on river otter, is voiced by Linda Cardellini, who also plays Linda Cardellini. She was she played Velma like in the Scooby-Doo movies.
Oh,
she was
okay.
really
nice.
A grandma's boy.
She's also Hawkeye's wife.
Also Hawkeye's
wife. Hawkeye series, yeah.
In the movies too. She appears in a couple of movies. She gets.
It's true. She is. Yeah.
Endgame. The fact that Linda Cardellini is Hawkeye's wife and also the voice of Leela is just something I need fucking explained at some point. I don't know why it bugs me so much. I don't know why that kind of drove me up the wall when I fucking saw it, but I'm like, that bothers me.
Really?
Bothers me. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I just
interesting.
You don't have to say anything. I just need to get that off my chest. The Suicide Squad. Fair. The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
One of the first movies that I went back to the theater for, kind of post-COVID. James Gunn remake of notoriously terrible David Ayers original Suicide Squad film. We recorded a Connie of the Goose last night. We talked about it for a few minutes, but let's just for the sake of the mainline pod. Your thoughts on Gunn's The Suicide Squad?
That was such a good movie. And I thought it would fail because they were forced to use Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, this is going to be a fucking Harley Quinn movie. That's what it's just all going to be about that.
Right.
And
there's a million reasons it should have been bad.
There's so many absurd fucking characters in that film. And that's what makes it so great and distracts from Harley. She just becomes part of the mob.
Harley is perfectly fine. She's got like 20% of the movie. Nothing that she does is particularly sort of kind of jarring or offbeat.
Yep.
Yeah, God, that
I
fucking.
think there was a scene in that film that I think was a hot scene. I'm seeing. I only saw it once. Is it? She's tied up. Harley Quinn's tied up, and then she kind of lifts her feet up and then unties herself.
She kills a guy with her thighs first.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
that's what it is. I remember she's hanging from her wrists. She's all tied up, and then she does something with her legs, and I was just like,
"You like that? Shit.
Nice touch. That's you like the pepper. You like the pepper, hey?"
I don't know. She has harpoons, man, this javelin that she carries the whole movie, and then at the end of it, she jumps into Starro's eye, and she's swimming in all the viscous fluid.
Oh.
And then Lawrence and all the other little rats kind of come swimming along along with there.
It's great stuff. All those little touches.
Yeah.
I mean, even the whole thing was Starro,
right?
Which I did not.
The lead villain of the first ever Justice League comic book. Something my dad bought me a reprint when I was about 8 years old from My Mother Threw Mine Away in Torrington, Connecticut, like a famous comic book store.
Great.
They ended with fucking Starro. It's just incredible.
So great. That's a great choice.
Yeah. But let's kind of sort of like the topic of the day, the man of the hour, the #1 movie in America, high critic score, high audience score. Fox News apparently sort of bitching nonstop about its sort of pro-immigration themes. The thing everybody's kind of talking about the moment, the first comic book movie I have recommended to my parents, I think probably ever. I was talking to them a couple days ago, but
yeah,
James Gunn's 2025 Superman. You and your son saw it a few days ago. What did you think?
Summary in brief.
Good boy. Synopsis in brief.
I blew it.
Kirkland brand version of my bit.
Look. This is like the Pepsi version of your synopsis. Summary in brief. Give it to me. Good boy. It's like my aperitif. The aperitif.
Yeah. Synopsis in brief. Shitty dog propaganda.
Supergirl. What a bitch.
I'm bummed you're not going to be like a full report, because we have two real dog enthusiasts and kind of dog apologists kind of up against myself personally, never owned a dog. I don't know. If Crypto
is similar to Crypto,
Superman of dogs, what would Sweet Bee have been?
I really don't know. Fun fact though, if you do play Fortnite, which most people don't, you can get Crypto's bone. Okay. You throw Crypto's bone at somebody, Crypto just shoots out of the sky, lands down, smashes the ground, takes off 100 points, and anybody within a 20-foot radius gets blown far away into nothingness. The problem is Crypto doesn't differentiate between enemies and the person who threw the bone.
So there can be a friendly fire situation.
So I killed myself today throwing the Crypto bone, because I was outside a building. Some guy was running over and he was gonna, just bust in it and start shooting the shit out of me. I open the door, I throw the bone out, but I don't close it fast enough, and Crypto lands right next to me and just shoots me up against the wall, and I die instantly. And then all it shows on the screen is just Crypto sitting there wagging his tail, smiling. Good boy.
It just doesn't even know what he's done.
Good boy.
Yeah. So are you coming into these things not particularly having that much connection with the movies, not sort of being the biggest fan, kind of the comic books back in the day, but just generally liking Gunn, kind of digging his house style, really enjoying some of the comic book movies previously. What did you think overall? Was this a good Superman movie, and was Gunn a good fit for making it?
I think it was great. I think everybody's probably going to agree with me on this one. The thing that I like, which everybody calls it too woke, but that's fine. I'll take that title if you want to call it that, is the fact that it's if you think about Superman, right?
Mhm.
We've mentioned this before. You've mentioned this specifically before.
Mhm.
You know, if you ask kids nowadays when they talk about superheroes, you know,
Mhm.
what superheroes come to mind? You mentioned
No 8-year-old boy is going to say Superman. 100% of them are going to say Goku. They're going to say Naruto.
Yeah.
They're going to say Monkey D. Luffy.
Yep, Batman's even a stretch because I mean, Batman, they put out a couple movies here or there, and then he just disappears, and that's considered more like adult fare, and that's how they were treating Superman, which I don't think was fair. I think it's a comic book. It's not supposed to be very serious and dark, and when you make Superman serious and dark,
comic books are not supposed to be any one thing like that. You know that like
look the way he's dressed. Look at the way the man's dressed. You're really going to be like, okay, this guy is like dark as fuck.
Right.
His blue spandex, bright blue spandex and red cape with a big S on it. I mean, come on.
Right.
I love how they keep it, though, at a level where it's like adults, but even kids. So many kids have been like, you know, my son, his friends have been talking about. They were jealous that he got to go see it.
Oh, so the big question, kind of right off the bat, like, what did Ray think of the movie? Did he have a good time?
Yeah, he loved it.
Really?
He thought it was great. And I think it's partly because of Crypto, because he saw the trailer for Crypto. Right. It was so hilarious when, you know, Superman whistles for Crypto, comes over, grabs the cape, he grabs him by the leg, he's dragging him.
The first thing, he's an
out.
overexcited, shitty dog who just doesn't realize that his owner's kidneys are all busted up and just jumps on top of him like a few times.
Yeah. Right. So right from there, like, and that's the trailer they show all over YouTube that the kids see. And they're like, okay, we got to see this. This looks really fun. Some superhero getting smacked around by the dog. And it's going to be a great movie. And it delivered. I loved everybody. Prior to seeing this, I just saw all the shitty press about how saying like Green Lantern is like fat and gross.
Which is supposed to be, I mean,
casting choices.
It's not even like supposed to be sort of like the main.
Guy Gardner has a fucking bowl cut.
Right.
He looks like a monk or something. He just looks weird. He's always looked weird. So the fact that somebody's going to give him shit because he's older and a little pudgy, like
it's probably just the fact. I mean, like it just Guy Gardner in the comics has always been the older kind of piece of shit Green Lantern that takes over when, you know, just John Stewart and Hal Jordan are like off world. Like that's
an asshole.
That's been the character for the 30-40 years that he's been around.
Yeah, and he stayed true to the role. I mean, he was an asshole, and he had his stupid Justice Gang or whatever they called it. I thought it was great though, and I even Lex Luthor. I don't know if the actor they chose for the role was maybe the person I would choose, but I mean, better than the pick they had for Zack Snyder's.
Right. Let's kind of talk on a top three casting. David Corenswet is Superman. Of course, I'm going to sort of blank on like the Lois Lane's. Rachel Brosnahan is Lois Lane. And Nicholas Hoult
she was good. She was a good one. I like her.
Luthor. How did you think? Is this what you hoped? Like sort of like these three, you know, the top three characters would sort of actually.
I had no expectations.
You had no expectations.
I mean, and it's a James Gunn flick, so you got to figure what kind of people would he like for these kind of roles. He's not going to pick your like darling Lois Lane where she's like she's serious about the news, but also she just melts when Superman's around or something like that.
Right.
Or constantly waiting for him.
Well, you know, it's what she kind of does there is it's very much a sort of spiritual successor to the Margot Kidder you know, kind of depiction back in like the original Cut Reeve movies that she's smart. She's sexy. She's kind of independent. She likes him, but she's kind of wary of the situation at the same time. And she in a conversation, like one of the best scenes in the movie is just when she kind of fake interviews him like at their apartment, kind of like that top. And
I like that. I thought it was too early on, but thinking about it afterwards, I liked it because I'm like, okay, now they're being honest about the situation, which you never get that kind of like exposition in like a Superman film. Superman goes and he stops a war. And is he going to sit down and have an interview for like 10 minutes and explain really his reasoning behind it? You're never going to get that window into kind of like his thinking behind it. I mean, and think about old Superman comics anyways. He just would act. But now we have like a smart Superman where he's just like, I made the right decision and I made the right decision. I didn't go through all the right channels
But what I love about that scene is he's not a complete dummy either. It's Lois is always a step or two ahead of him, like the entire conversation.
That scene too, where she was talking to Mr. Terrific, and she's like, she's getting advice from him. She's like, "Look, he came in. I was talking to him. I was going to break up with him." And I was like, "You're never going to hear Lois Lane say that in a comic ever, or any of the previous films." So I was like, "Wow, look at that. She's punk. That's why they keep emphasizing she's like punk rock."
Right.
And then what was he? He was kind of like a
versus what's like the standard?
Like,
he's just kind of, you know, it's kind of implied she's kind of basically from like a really kind of hip urban sort of Brooklyn kind of area, and the only like the most punk rock thing that he knows is like a Green Day or like kind of No Doubt.
Sure, yeah. I also like the fact too that a lot of people complain about this movie saying, "Oh, Superman, he's weak. He gets his ass kicked in the beginning of the film," and I'm like,
he really doesn't though. Like that's like it's literally he's fighting a clone of himself with Luthor kind of screaming video game cheat codes into his ear the entire time.
He's fighting himself.
Yeah.
He's fighting a stronger clone of himself. What do you expect?
Yeah, shit. Like what else?
Mr. Terrific, by the way, what an astounding character. He is like,
oh, good.
I don't know if he's the Groot of like Guardians,
right?
But he is
they really had
character.
The character. Even people that follow comics would know like who like Metamorpho the Element at.
Oh, Metamorpho! I know Metamorpho. I do not know who Mr. Terrific is. I looked it up. I thought he's part of the Justice League. I don't even know what he was part of. Some random team. I've never seen him on a comic book. I've never seen him like appear in any of like the, I don't know, DC events or anything like that. I have no idea who he is.
But I guess he's kind of like a pretty well-known kind of character from like the last few years.
Right. He could be.
The writing of it, the performance, the fact they basically give him Asperger's, the fact he's just kind of tired and annoyed with everything like the entire time.
Crypto keeps going after his balls.
Yeah.
That was a big scene for my kids. They both loved it. They're like, Crypto keeps going after the flying balls. He's like, I forget what his line is, but Mr. Terrific's like, he's like,
those things are expensive.
Those things aren't cheap. Those things are expensive or something. But then they use that later on.
Right.
The fight with Lex Luthor. And I was like, yes, I see what happened there. Awesome.
Let me put this out to you, and like this is the thing. I went to the movie for like the second time just a couple days ago, and I just had an again immensely loved it. I will never give a Superman movie like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
because I just don't think the character's that interesting enough. But it went from like an 8, I don't know, like it went from like 8.9 to like a flat like 9 for me like this time. But, a thing was impressed with the first time and really knocked out this time. James Gunn has said in interviews, he's like repeatedly, this has been a line I've always kind of rolled my eyes at listening to reporting, but he said most superhero movies these days suck. There's a very easy reason for that. Everybody starts filming with an unfinished script. That's all that it is. People are sort of given, it's usually the third act, but it's like the characters aren't figured out, like the full arc, like the story isn't figured out. These things feel kind of shaky and incomplete because like the director does not day one know what the entire story is going to be. Going into this movie, the whole time, the character arcs, the themes, the ideas, how everything kind of connects together, how there's so much different shit happening in the film. But kind of everybody gets their kind of moment at the same time.
True.
What did you think about just like the script and like the writing side of this movie?
I love a movie that, I mean, the rating was fantastic, but I just love a movie where it starts out, where it's like, they're not building up to something. You start at Superman just lost. And I love how they do that, where they're like...
The most exciting part of the film for me is the text scroll in the first 30 minutes.
Exactly.
3 minutes ago, Superman lost his first ever fight. I was sitting there with my Lagunitas IPA just going like, let's fucking go. This is going to be good.
Yeah, I love how they can just skip through everything and they don't reintroduce who Superman is. They're like, you know who Superman is.
Right.
And you know that he doesn't lose, except for 25 Doomsday in the comic. But he's a badass and he doesn't lose, and he just lost his first fight.
Right.
And
that's where we're starting.
Way to start a film. I was just like, where do you go from here? And you know what? It doesn't.
Let's introduce his shitty dog.
But that's the thing. It gets worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
It gets worse before it gets better. So it's not like he lost and then he comes back and he wins. He still loses after he comes back. And then Lex Luthor finds out where the fortress is. He gets inside the fortress and then he just destroys all his robots.
Right.
He kidnaps his dog.
Kidnaps his dog. Right.
At
that point, I mean, at that point, Batman should have been called in because, it's just they should have either gotten like Batman or John Wick at that point.
Yeah. But how cool is that? It's like it's like he just lost, but we're not done yet. There's more. We're gonna just, and then they translate the rest of they fix the rest of the broken message.
So how did you have any apprehensions about sort of like because that's the one canon Superman thing that they really kind of broke. I love the fact that they made Superman's parents basically Viltrumites. That got me really, really just kind of.
You know what, too? I was watching this and I kept saying, I'm like, this is where they get the premise for Dragon Ball.
Right.
Like, this is it. Goku is on a planet that's going to be destroyed. His parents put him in a capsule, send him to another harmless planet where he's stronger than like the other beings there. So he's more a threat to them than they are to him. So he can pretty much rule. Same thing for Superman here. I was just like, look at that. It all kind of ties in. Like, it just history repeats. But I did like
it's a great zag. I personally
it is something else I want to bring up. We're gonna have to wrap this up, but the Pocket Universe.
Yes.
Holy shit. What a cool idea. And then not only that, but there's a fucking black hole in the middle of the Pocket Universe.
Yeah. The thing I have had in my head, and I just hope it becomes part of the language, I so hope this gets to the zeitgeist, but like a bunch of just angry monkey bots kind of typing shit into social media.
Monkey bots playing with crypto. I remember that scene too. That was so funny. I was like, look, the monkey bots, they're back.
Let's kind of leave on this, but I was flipping through like sort of letterbox reviews for this film earlier, and like this is a really exciting movie. I'm glad to kind of talk about with you. I'm going to be glad to talk about it with Andy and Naveen later, because it's been kind of a long time since we've seen a superhero film just do everything kind of this well.
This is Superman too.
It's
a household name. Like there's so many people that have some connection to this character, and it's so easy to fuck it up. So you can't make everybody happy, but I felt like this was something for everybody, and especially for families.
Yeah. The last great Superman movie is considered Superman 2, released December 1980. So technically, there's been another good one in our lifetimes, but the fact 4.5 decades to kind of get here again is really
still don't remember the theme song.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Let me say this too. I also, before I get off, the post credits, fucking cock tease. This is what I was expecting. This is what I was expecting. They reveal that Superman has been fighting his clone the entire time, created by Lex Luthor. He gets sucked into a black hole. I'm like, give me Bizarro. Give me Bizarro. Just one hand reaching out of the black hole, grabbing like the edge of like the ground, pulling himself out. And I'm like, and it's white and just distorted. I'm like, that's Bizarro. It's either that or the fact that they had, Wonder Man wrapped, like he was covered the entire time.
Ultraman, which is I think like
Ultraman
from the Injustice comics, if I remember.
Okay, sure, yeah, Ultraman. So I kept thinking the fact that his entire body is covered. They're covering it up because he's a clone, but I was like, is that Doomsday?
Which would be fun.
Doomsday? Maybe. Right. But they ripped it all off then.
It's actually Black Noir from The Boys.
Black Noir from The Boys. I want Bizarro. I think he's going to be there. They did that picture though, where they had the scene where they had Superman sitting on the moon with Krypto looking down at Earth is an iconic picture. It's from one of the more recent runs of Superman that I read. That was a pretty good one. So that was one for the fans. The second one, the OCD one, that was for other humans.
Let me leave you on this real quick. I was flipping through like Letterboxd earlier. I saw one review that I'm like, this will make Eric laugh, but it was there's kind of been a lot about sort of just why is Lex like that? What's kind of really going on? But like there's been a few pretty funny sort of Letterboxd reviews on that. But my favorite one that I saw was if Superman had realized how to handle Lex correctly, the only thing Lex would have been arching would be his back.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Right.
Something for everybody.
Something for everybody, folks. Buddy, thank you for kind of taking like a little bit of time out like ahead of all your travels today. We really appreciate this. We'll kind of, we're
here for Soups.
Mainline pod, and give it up for Soups.
All right,
dog owners unite.
Yeah, no dogs, no dogs.
Talk to you in a little bit.
All right, later.